Part two. Here we go. Hi. So this is Gifty from Baller Mom. If you had joined me a little bit earlier, you would have noticed that while I was still in discussion with a guest, Aisha, the internet got cut off for whatever reason. I don't know. Something happened and it got froze. So we have to restart, and that's okay. So now we'll call that as rehearsal. So the introduction here is that I'm going to invite Coach Aycha, who is going to share her story with us, her journey as to how she got into basketball, into coaching, mentoring, and the inspirations that she can teach us all to be able to continue this journey. So allow me to invite Coach Aycha to join us today. Give me a few moments, and hopefully everybody's able to come back and enjoy this conversation with us. Yes, I made sure that my internet is not working so that we don't have to get cut off again. Okay. I see. Okay, yes, I will follow you on Twitter later. Okay. Great. Hi.
Hey,
Okay. How are you?
great part of technology, eh?
Yes. Yes. You know what? That's to pivot. So whatever happens, you just pivot, go with the flow, and this is fine. So I appreciate that for your patience.
Oh no, no worries. I completely.
No problem. So I will step back just a little bit, especially now there's more people starting to join us. Can you tell us who you are and what you do, and as part of the sports family?
Sure thing. So for those that heard this, bear with me. But my name is Aisha. I'm a teacher in the TDSB. I teach middle school, so that is my full-time job. In the evenings, well, pre-pandemic in the evenings, you could always find me at Humber College coaching. I played there for 4 years before, and I'm in my sixth year of coaching. It would be more if we didn't lose a couple there, but definitely to be there. I had a really good experience going through the process there. I mentioned before I was injured for a couple years, then we had a coaching change. But you know what? I believe God is good, and things worked out. I believe everything
Yep.
happened. Then, yeah.
Wow, that's good. So it's a good journey to start off. Now, did you always play sports from like an early age, or you only found the love of the sports as you got older?
So so I went to a school where I kind of stuck out as a sore thumb as an Arab Muslim. So I didn't really fit in with, the dynamics there. It was a mostly white school, and I wasn't used to the area. It was a new home that we moved into, a new area that.
Mhm.
So I felt sports was a way for me to fit in. So I found out, I was soccer. I play at recess with the
Yeah.
boys, fit in. They would invite me to play, and I'm like, this is great. Like I found a place here. And from there, I kept going. I'd play soccer all the time. Then eventually, I found a love for basketball once we were playing in gym class. Uh,
Nice.
Growing up, I wasn't really allowed to play sports. My parents were you need to focus on academics. It
Yep.
wasn't until I got to high school where my high school coach actually did a lot. Like he drove me to and from practices. He invited me to play on his rep team. He was actually an assistant at Humber at the time. So big shout out to him.
Wow.
He paved a way for me, right? So things aligned very well in that case.
Good, good, good. And you, of course, the talent is there, but like you said, the passion was just as much as the talent, which is good because you also have people helping you along the way,
And you
right?
need why we were talking briefly before the live, but that's why it's connections and
Hmm.
all that is so important because it really opens doors for you.
Exactly, exactly. We're not in this alone. There's always going to be help somewhere, and knowing where to go or who to go to get that particular support is so important. So for anybody else, that's watching and thinking, oh, I don't know, I'm about to graduate or I'm entering high school, I don't know what to do. There's nowhere to go. Either contact Coach Aycha if you're looking into Humber or even having the college experience, or if you're looking for anything else, just let me know. There's always a help out there to be able to guide you with this process, because we've advanced so far now compared to how it was before, looking in yellow pages and going to the payphone and trying to find somebody to, get your information to send actual cassette tape of you playing a game or something. So there's a
They,
help. There's lots of help.
they didn't find you, you weren't finding them.
Exactly. But now there's two-way. You can find each other and get that journey going. Now, you mentioned a little bit about pandemic, of course, and we're all in it. I'm not sure when we get out of this circle that we're in. You touched a little bit. You talked a little bit about, how pre-COVID in terms of your scheduling and all, but how has it actually either benefited you or sort of hinder you as part of being in the sports world?
I think it helped in a sense because I was pregnant.
Okay.
So, I don't know how much I would have been able to, get in the drills and, you know, get on the court or safety wise. And then, having the baby, that first part was tough too, because, that,
Yeah.
and now it's a lot of need. So
Yep. It's not just you anymore.
as much as we have to be and the family is supportive and can be helpful, it was during the pandemic where you're like, how much can I really see people? Are we letting them hold the baby? Are we letting them help? What can we really do? So there was so much uncertainty at that time that it was stressful. So not having the basketball helped in that case, but it didn't help because that's a sort of stress relief for me, right? It's something that's personal, that's my own, that I do, and it's for me. So which was nice once it started up again, because it was like, even though I had the baby and I was full-time mommy, I had basketball in the evening to go to. So when it shut down again, I got sucked up back into it.
Yep, all of us. It's hard. Like I said, it's like you're up and down, up and down, up and down. And even though we're pivoting, it's a roller coaster of emotions and physical, for sure. Now we're gonna get to know a little bit about also the role that you play with athletes, especially in the realm of coaches and female coach. There's a lot of male coaches out there. There's a lot. And when I find out one jam that who's a female, I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I have boys, but I'm a woman too, right? So, and I'm equal opportunity on that realm. So talk to us a little bit about the coaching experience within basketball as a female.
So I was very fortunate. The two of the assistants at that time so the one assistant was the coach that brought me in, that I coached me in high school. So I got to coach with him before he retired. So, I got to play for him in high school, in college, and then coach with him, which was very, very cool experience. One of the other assistant coaches was actually, we actually played at the same time, and he graduated before me. So staff as well. So he was a close friend of mine. And then I had a good relationship with the other assistant who was a very good friend of mine. So I already had a connection there going in. And, you always hear about this like power dynamics of males and females coaching. And I'm so grateful of how incredibly fantastic they were. They were very inclusive. They made me feel like they respected my understanding of the game. They would ask for my advice. They would come to me for stuff. Equally, obviously, I would do the same, right? Because they're older, they have more experience than me, for sure there. But just knowing that they would come to me and ask me made me feel, okay, these guys are real. They understand. They respect women in the game, and they should be coaching women, because and you can't get that from everyone. You hear coaches that, there's a superiority complex.
Keyword. I like that.
The teacher in me.
Yes.
Absolutely fantastic. Like our head coach AJ right now, very inclusive. Like even though he has a wealth of knowledge, he's always willing to keep an open mind, because you never know who you can learn from. It doesn't matter who it is, really, right? It can be a student in my classroom might be able to give me a piece of advice that, even though what they say might not be it might trigger something for myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. So you're always even learning from your students. It's not just even you teaching the student. It's a two-way street in some ways, right?
100%. Always for everyone, everything. Even my daughter, I try to take in what she does. Why, right?
Oh, they teach us more than we're thinking that we're teaching them. That's for sure.
Teaching me patience.
Right? Oh, yes. And she is patient. And she's enjoying the conversation. I appreciate that
Yeah.
because, and as I was saying, I even posted earlier today with today being focused on women and girls in sports and you having a daughter and knowing your journey that you're going through when she's going to hear your story, she's going to see you doing the hard work that you continue to do and giving back, and that's paving the way for her to continue. That confidence is in there. It's not going to be like, oh, winning this, went to this
Uh,
path is only just for certain. Yeah,
yeah, sorry, there was a back lag there. Even though I
that's
do
okay.
experience within my staff, you could tell when you go, from I'm coaching other schools and how when they see like some of the time I was the manager when I go to other schools and other male coaches. So there's a difference. They'd over
Mm-hmm.
and go to the next male coach. I'd be beside them. They go to down the bench, be like, "Oh, are you the coach?" and completely pass me. So those
Wow.
educators, where some people still see a woman's role, right? For him to go past me, even though I was closer on the bench, and going all the way to a male coach, and now
Mm-hmm.
they're the coach. And I'm pretty vocal. I'm like, hey, I'm a coach too. What can I help you with? It's like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were the manager.
Wow.
For them to even say words, got some cojones there to even mention that. But
Yeah.
eye
Wow.
an eye opener, that's for sure.
Wow. But I'm glad that you caught that, and then the reaction is that you're re-educating them to bring them back and
Have,
realize
have to.
this idea that only women are the managers of teams is not right. That if anything, I am a coach, regardless of my gender. I know the game, and I'm here to do my job. And yes, whatever your question is, ask away. I like that. It's a very respectful way, and it's also in a way that I'm sure this particular athlete or whoever the individual is would take back. Next time they go walk into a gym, they'll be aware of their surroundings. They won't just assume, right? They want to assume that everyone that they see has a different role, or the coach, the male that you're talking to might actually be a parent. Who knows? They might not even be part of the staff doing the work, right? So kudos to you on that. I wanted to find out was, what would you say? You talked about your experience here playing and all. Did you also go through the experience of playing outside of your country? And if so, how was it?
So I didn't really get that opportunity. I think once AJ came in, he was able to open that opportunity. So I saw that as a coach. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I did get to play in Spain when our team went as a coach, but that was just to fill in some players because some were getting injured and such. So I played some garbage minutes, and I was completely out of shape at the time. But I guess it's something. But our coach has done a really good job to provide opportunities for the women on our team. He was originally a men's coach, and he came in and he said, he wanted to provide the same opportunities that he would do if he was on the men's side. So we've gone to Spain, we've gone to Taiwan, we've gone to Florida, we've gone like crazy.
Wow.
These girls now that would have probably, unless they came to Humber and played for AJ, would have never
Mm-hmm.
had those experiences.
Yeah.
As a coach alongside him, it really, as long as when I continue coaching, I want to provide those same experiences for my athletes because it's cultural learning experiences that are priceless, really.
Exactly. And sport is beyond borders. You're not just stuck with the same, area code or zip code that you have. It allows you to experience other places and other athletes on how they play. Even though the same sports, similar rules, but I guess when you travel, you get that world experience. So you can come back and change. And I appreciate that you took that route, also realizing that the talent here is just as good and the school here is just as good. So for anybody else who's thinking, I don't really want to do local college here. I really don't want to do local university here. My mind is like, oh wait, I want to go to Europe. I want to go to the States because that's where the big market is. Male or female athletes, what would you say to them? Something that they could be aware of? Not bad, not good, but just something to, a realistic perspective that the opportunity here is just as good, if not probably better in some ways.
I think the first thing that comes to mind when you speak of that is what are you looking to take education wise? Because even though the goal is to play at a higher level for most, especially if you're trying to go on a scholarship to the States, you're thinking that pro level. Well, now you can do that here. But before that was limited to the states, but now there's different avenues. Like we've had already 3 girls go pro from our program in the last few years, and probably a few more on the way. But the first thing I would think of is education. What are you trying to take? Because there's some things that do not translate from the States to here. So it doesn't make sense for you to go to the States if you want to be a cop. It doesn't make sense if you want to go to the States if you want to be a lawyer, because the completely different tests and laws and all of that.
And money.
Money.
Yeah.
Would say, what's the costs? How cost effective is this for you, right? If you've got the money, sure, no problem. As someone that came that did not have the money and you had to be smart about it, you had to pros and cons of whatever decision I made. Like even as great as it is to have that experience of living away from home, that wasn't an option for me at that time. So most of it. So you got to, first of all, you got to make the most of any situation that you're in. But yeah, you have to figure out what are you trying to do education wise? Are you trying to be a dentist, a doctor? Like there's logistical differences that I have to figure out.
Yeah.
And teacher.
Yeah.
Different certification. Like people have gone there, done that, and then they find out their school isn't approved by the OCT, right? The Ontario College of Teachers, and then you have to do all these additional courses. So if you want to do the experience and it makes sense for you in the States, because I've heard both sides. I've heard people that have had incredible experiences, then 100% do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Live your life. But
and there is a comment that says, make the most of every situation you are in, and that's real, especially when it comes to basketball, and learn a skill and gain some experience. Key point, because you're playing the sports, your body is great, you're learning, but the skills that come with doing that team work, travel, whatever it is, even if you're traveling from one part of the city to the other side, it's still travel. Right? You're still getting experience. You're living on the highway. It's still travel, literally. Sometimes you can get to from here to another city. It's probably longer than going to another country when you're stuck on the highway, literally. But it's still an experience, and you're right too. No understanding what's the end goal. Are you just playing for 4 years and after that you're done, or are you also playing it to try to get some education to continue and build a life or a career? And it's similar to yours. Like you did it playing, but you will still continue with your education. Now you're able to continue by teaching and still play the sports that you love. So these are key points. I know sometimes for the younger ones, the parents will say it over and over, school first, school first. It's not bad to say school first. It's okay. But I also want you to understand that sports and school go hand in hand, but you gotta have, you need a brain before you get the physical aspect of it. Now, talking about the education, you say you're also an educator. What's some of your accolades when it comes to education? Because sometimes people, you look up, it's like, oh, she's a coach. All she wants to know is just sports, and that's all she does. There's more to it, as we just stated. So just, no bragging. There's nothing wrong with it. Just let us know your accolades. Say it out, because it's a proud moment that you work so hard for and still working towards some, right?
So I've taken lots of professional development courses just on trying to better myself in understanding. Like I took an Indigenous course over the summer because I just felt it was very important with everything going on. I had questions for me that I can answer them. That's basically why I took that. But in general, I have a diploma in fitness and health promotion from Humber. I have a honors degree in kinesiology. I have education and have a master's in educational leadership. So a few things that have kept me busy. I would love to do my PhD, but I'm waiting for my husband to get rich so I can just focus on that.
It will happen. It will happen. Don't worry.
The little one gets older, so then right now I'm taking. Well, I just finished my master's like a year and a half ago, so I'm taking a little break.
Take a break, and you well-deserved break. But of course, like we were saying, education and sports go hand in hand. So because you want to play and be, a starter, doesn't mean you still can't get the books going. And if anything, if anyone has learned or watched any of my features, you can't get anywhere if you don't have the grades, and you can't get the grades if you don't do the work. If you don't do the work and have the brain, like it's just It starts, right from the beginning. So when your parents say, go do your work, literally,
And
go
it's
do your work.
I've seen people that even when I was in high school, guys that I don't want to name schools because that could get finicky, but that were outstanding athletes, but because
Hmm.
they didn't do the school, all their D1s got taken away, that they didn't score what they needed to, and then like their dreams, like when you get a dream ripped away from you, it's hard to recover,
Yeah.
right? But it's
Yeah.
something you put your soul into, and I've seen these guys like put in work for it.
Wow. So yeah, definitely if that's the goal, like you said, what's the educational goal in addition being an athlete? Once you know that, you can work towards that, and there's avenues and people out there that can help you, and one of it being yourself. Now the team that you coaches are females, right? And I love, for whatever reason, I know I have boys, but I also love female athletes play, compete, and be the best that they can be. uh, how do you envision the growth of women basketball here in Canada? I know the men are getting a lot of, viewership and a lot of words. We have the whole CEBL going on for the men. We're not sure about the WNBATO for the women, but from the female perspective, how do you see the growth here going, and what can you see as progressing as the future goes on?
I think it was progressing really well, and I hate talking about the pandemic, but I feel like it did stunt it, but I'm hoping it's just a little stunt and things will keep going. But prep schools, like a lot of our athletes are getting a lot more recognition from the States. Before it was like you knew maybe one or two girls getting recruited to the States, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
pro or whatever it was. And now like there's handfuls that, that are making it out there. So I think just based on that, I think it's huge. Like the 10-year difference between when I played and like when I played, I'm trying to even think of who I knew went pro then. Like no one on my team, no one that I know played pro or went and played pro afterwards. Maybe one former high school teammate. She played pro in Germany for a few years. But other than that, it's almost unheard of. But now it's like every year you see 2-3 girls going. So I
Yep.
think that already is an indicator. I'm hoping more things happen in here. I know one of our coaches, Jeremy, was starting like a Power Elite Women's League, and it had all the girls that were playing pro, D1, high level, and we got them all in a league for a month in the summer. And there was a bunch of sponsorships coming on, and obviously that got hindered right now. But I would love to see all that stuff pick up afterwards because I think
Me too.
sports, and I think a lot of guys now, and piece, we're starting like older heads that played ball and had girls want to provide those opportunities for their daughters. So now they're opening those avenues up.
Yes, I agree. And you're getting a shout out there from PPT coach,
Yes,
Coach David.
he's the best. You're the
Yes,
best.
trainer. Yes. Hopefully you're healing well too.
Yeah, the tough one. Tough one.
Yeah, tough. So great. You know what? And I think I'm hopeful too with the future of female basketball here in Canada. Whether we have, a big national team or not, just like we had it for soccer getting the great accolades that it got. I mean, I'm very hopeful that basketball is just gonna be and you don't have to literally go across the ocean and come back to make it big. We can build it strong here. And let's just keep pushing. Literally, it's not even just Ontario, like all across the whole country. There's like great athletes in other parts of the provinces that are doing great. One of the things that I see lacking is, of course, the exposure. And it's tough. And I know when I follow the Humber Women page there, you guys have a way of showcasing your different athletes. You're letting them know it's personable, that they're human, they're students. They're also doing things to keep it going. And the accolades that you're given makes the individual feel proud. So from your side of it, in addition to mentoring these athletes, maybe they're not making it to the pro, and sometimes they may have a down thoughts about it. What are some other things that you tell them when it comes to mentoring, aside from coaching? Because it's a fine line between coaching and mentoring aspect of it. So what are some of the key things that you tell them to keep them going, so that they know that whatever their goal is that they're working towards, it is still possible and reachable?
I think it's just a lot of game planning with them. And I actually got game planning, which is funny, David there, Stephanie, who you interviewed before camps, and did a lot of game plan booklets. And even though I don't do booklets, I sit down and I'll kind of work out like, well, what's your goal? What are you trying to get out of this? Where are you trying to go? And I think just having a conversation is important, and then following up on those conversations. Like, I think the athlete, and I'm saying this because this is how I am. Not everyone might be the same, but it's one thing to reach out once. It's the follow-up that shows that you care.
I like that. Follow up shows you care. Don't reach it out once is great, but follow up that you care. And the follow up is more from the athlete side or from the coach's side. Like, how would you feel from the athlete saying, "Hi, Coach Aycha, can you help me with this?" And then you help them, and then they just go. But what you're indicating is that they follow up. You say, "Hey, you told me this. This is what I did. How was it?" Like that feedback. Is that somewhere similar to what you're trying to say?
Yes. So it's you have the conversation. They either come to you, go to them. Because sometimes you can tell, like, when someone seems a little off, they're not playing as well, or you hear from a coach or whatever that teacher that, they're not showing up to classes, and better than assuming, that they're just being lazy or they don't care or whatever, right? We throw all these terms around. I think, they might not care. They might be lazy. Those are possible reasons.
Yes.
But I think I think assuming is the worst thing you can do. So I think getting your facts straight and just having a conversation. Hey, what's up? What's going on? Or sometimes, some of the more mature ones that you've already developed a relationship with will come to you and just say, hey, I don't know if you noticed, and then afterwards you have that conversation, give it a few days, just say, hey, just want to see what's going on. And it's you to help.
Yeah, conversation is key. So important, because I don't know what's in your head unless you say it, right? And it's good to have that open communication and approachable coach who is open to listening and sharing and encouraging you to be the best that you can be, which is awesome. Another thing I wanted to find out from you was, with all the years that you've played, your experience with the coaching and school and everything, what are some of your proudest moments in the world of sports?
Ooh, proudest moments. Well, a recent proud moment, I guess it's not even during the sport or the winning, but like seeing your athletes get to where they want to be. A player that I played with and coached, who's also a very good friend of mine, recently got to law school. That was like incredible just to know where she started from, where she academically was struggling, and then just pulled up her socks and just going to one of the best law schools in Canada. That's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, that one was huge. And even other ones, like, just see them reaching their goals, like, got into teachers college, are going to play pro, or another one that was on the tip of my tongue and now I forget. But yeah, just I guess those you're like, good for you, like, and you want to feel like, hey, maybe I had a part of that somehow.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you did, of course. And if they can think back, like I said, everybody has a way of helping each other get to a certain step. Some come in and go, some stay with you all the way, some is a one-time moment. And all the individuals that you just mentioned in terms of their accolades, it's, of course, you had a role in it too. So kudos to you. And that's why I was asking, like, proud of those moments, because like you said, you had others help you to get where you are, and you're paving that way for others as well too, right? So by all means, it's a pat on your back for your hard work and dedication, and also the great mentorship that you've been doing for them. I want to also find out from you the overall basketball future here in Canada. I know we talk about the female perspective, but the overall basketball, I mean, in whatever year that the Raptors won, we all thought we were on top of the world. We're going to get another 2 more teams here in Canada. Everybody was totally forgot about hockey. Like, we didn't know any of these. Everybody was just automatically a basketball fan, right?
Country for a year.
Yeah, literally. Like, I was actually surprised when I went to the parade thinking, oh, it's just going to be actual, people that knows the game. I was just like, who are these people? Do you even watch the game? What's going on? And I was happy to see it. It was crazy. So just on your own perspective, from, take it back from that time where they won all the way skipping through this whole pandemic and all, but the increase in the knowledge that everybody's gaining about the benefits of sports here in Canada. What do you see for the growth here?
I think it's already happening. I think with people that are, speaking about it, putting together your IG Live, your page, Kevin with his mentorship program. I think Steph and David opening up an overnight basketball camp.
Yeah, hoop dreams.
That's
yes.
Dreams. That's how much people love, playing, that they're going to go to camp for a month or two, and it's just basketball specific. I think those are all great indicators. And I think, going across the country, you have different people that are starting programs up, and the interest is there, right? Mm-hmm. Well, even though during the pandemic, everything got shut down, you knew there was a want and a need for it. Even in GTA, like how many gyms are always booked?
Yes.
Basketball.
Yep.
People are always looking for gym time.
Yep.
So
It's
again. I hope that will be the case again. But I guess
it's just, so yeah, the growth is going. I agree with you. Honestly, it's just the interest and the fact that it's allowing more people to be active.
Yeah.
Get out there and be active. And for me to be screaming and losing my voice, like it's a two-way thing, right? It's great.
You're learning how to time manage. You're being around like-minded individuals.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many benefits to it. Like I don't know the kind of trouble I would have been in if I didn't have to go to basketball practice every day after school instead of, who knows, after school funny business going on.
Hanging at the mall.
Yeah, hanging out is fun.
It's fun, yeah. Or by the subway station, whatever. I mean, it's great to have a social life and all, but I agree. The sport itself also brought some benefits in time management, team effort, understanding losses and wins and draws and, everything. Managing school and sports and activities and family and everything. So
I bet basketball, we played high school together and we're still like this. My bridesmaids for my wedding were either you were related to me or we hooped together. Like that was it.
Yeah. I love that. Oh my God. I can just probably imagine that everybody just like with their ball there, with your gown, like, yep, that's it. And just talking hoops and just enjoying. It's great. And you build lifelong experience, lifelong friends. So it's not even just basketball, like any sports that you get yourself involved with, as long as you go hard and dedicated, like you're building lifelong dedicated skills that can go beyond just the sports once the ball stops, which is awesome. Now, I want to bring it back to, you mentioned Kevin and his organization and the mentorship aspect of it. So aside from coaching, you also do a lot of community work, which is the mentorship with it. Talk to us a little bit about that, what you do there, and how you're giving back to the sports community.
So that's been a bit of a hold for me. So once I got pregnant and I had Layla, the timing wasn't there, and I talked not too long ago saying, okay, like what's going on for the summer? I want to start getting stuff together now. Like now I have that itch, right, to start doing more and getting back in there, where my focus was kind of taken away before. So working on some stuff for this summer, as long where things are going to be 100% back to normal, everything's going to be good.
Back to in person, hopefully.
And then, so I'm just building programs. I want to build more programs that, are great basketball-wise for development, but I also work on, developing relationships within those drills and in those camps and clinics and all that, because I think the networking starts young. And getting to know people and building those relationships is very important. And it also, translates to on the court.
Yes, it does. And it's not just sitting down and hearing the athlete talk, but you can actually help them physically as well too. And there is like another athlete I know has given, when I posted it, her mom was like, oh my gosh, she's the best, she's so cool. I'm like, yes. Yeah. And it means it means a lot to parents knowing that there's someone out there that is providing these guided services to their children.
Yeah.
And that's what the National Basketball Youth Mentorship does too. So it's great. So if anyone doesn't know it, honestly, I will tag that later. Find out, connect with Kevin and his team, and get that one-on-one mentorship to support you and your athletes. Even though it's not even about just sports either, but it starts from there, and it's great. And they have great opportunities for so many different things that you can learn from that. Now, with that being said, I also wanted to know, so you done the coaching, you doing the mentorship, and now you are a mother, of course. We have Layla here with us. How is the whole work-life balance going? Working mom, balancing everything. Like I don't know how we do it, but we do. So just from your perspective, how do you feel? How's it going with you?
I'm drowning. It's going all right. Like, even though we just got back on Monday with Humbird coaching, it's been tough. Like, I didn't get to go to the first 2 practices. We had late practices, and we usually have earlier practices. But this week, unfortunately, we're late practices. So it's during her bedtime. She's teething.
Oh my gosh.
I don't see her all day. So she's like, whenever she does see me, she's very like clingy. And so we're working on that. But I think we're going to be okay. So it is what it is. Like you said, we get through it. We do it. I'm happy to be back at work. I love my job. I love teaching. The school I'm at is great. My administration is fantastic. But, I miss my athletes. We have some really great girls on our team. Great energy, great vibe. A lot of them checked in on me to see how I'm doing. So as much as it's nice for us to check in on them, you're doing something right when they start checking in on you too.
Yes, so. For sure. For sure. Oh, I love that. And you know what? Like you hit the nail on it, and you're honest. Drowning. Sometimes we drown, but even within that drowning, we're still swimming. So yeah. It's okay. We just
good.
Yeah, just swimming, and you do awesome work. You know what? There's no perfect manual on how to balance work life as a mother or a working mother or stay-at-home mother. It doesn't matter. There's no manual.
All of it's hard.
All of it. So whatever you're doing, it's awesome. You're doing 110%. So don't ever feel any other way. You're doing the best. At the end of the day, you get to see her. You kiss her. She goes to sleep, fed, boom, done. Like, check, right? So awesome to that. Kudos for you. Another thing I wanted to find out from you was then, with everything lifted now, thank God. Hopefully we don't go back into more lockdown. I'm so tired of it. Like, please, gosh, no. What can we look forward to from your team, right? In terms of, let's say somebody wanted to come, hopefully there's spectators. If the Raptors are allowing spectators, we can allow spectators, let's hope. And so what can we look forward to or find where we can see you guys play, or somebody want to bring their child to let them see how, local teams play and the experiences and the toughness that it comes with it, that it's not something to take lightly. Where can we find you, and how else can they connect with you to make sure they come to your games?
They're welcome to either, message me personally. It could be on my Instagram account. We have our Humber Women's Basketball Instagram account too, which will update our schedule once it's solidified. And we'll let people know once we're open and people can start coming in. I know the first half of the season, when we were just having exhibition games, it was just family. Family and students, and I'm hoping we're able to open up, because it's a different experience as well, allowing our athletes to play in front of a crowd, right? I love that feeling when we hosted provincials and you look out there and there's all these people, and they're cheering for you. It's a different feeling. It's the support. It gives you that support advantage.
Yep. Yeah, and it helps mentally knowing, like, it's the feedback that you get. And we've seen that at a pro level when they're playing to an empty stadium versus when it's a full stadium. Like, it's different. So I'm really hoping that things get better, that we can actually start seeing people in person, and you can hear me cheer in the stands, and you'd be like, who's that lady yelling? That would be me. Just so heads up.
That's because right now, my husband, bless his soul, has been taking care of her as much as he can while I'm at work, at my games. He'll come and hold her, but it's tough. setting. So it'd be nice if I could bring another family member or somebody else, right? For you to,
Yeah.
you're actually gonna be walking soon, so it's gonna be a one-person job, that's for sure.
That's going to be a fun stage. That's for sure. That's all I always say. Every stage is different. That's a fun stage. That's all I can say. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I would not hold I don't want to hold up her bedtime anymore further, but I'd like to give one last question just to sort of cool it down a little bit. So as you go put her to bed, she could be, peacefully sleeping. And with this month being Black History Month, a lot of people are going to be reading and trying to educate themselves and cultures and sensitivities and anything like that. So not even just looking at that, but what is one book that you've read that sort of resonated with you that, it's something that you would recommend to anybody else if they're looking for a particular book to read?
Malcolm X has a book out. Oh, I forget the name. It was an Indigo. It's not a long book. It's like this big, but I'm a huge Malcolm X fan.
Okay.
He even has the movie where Denzel plays him. I don't know if you've watched it.
Yep.
So good. So yeah, anything with Malcolm X.
Awesome. We will make a note. I'll search Indigo and I'll tag and say Indigo's newest book from Malcolm X. Read it out. Soul searching.
Tell me what the cover is, and I can tell you if that's the right one or not.
Okay.
But yeah, really good. And even though, just like everyone else, Martin Luther King is fantastic. Malcolm X is like the other side of it all, right? Because they were at the same time. So
yeah,
the perspective is nice. Yes. And it's different leadership styles. Both are correct. Both were in the right time for the time and their place, of what needed to be done. So, yeah.
I like that. I will look for that book as well. I'm an avid reader, so I'm always looking for different books to add to my bookshelf if I ever show it the shelf. I feel like I collect more and then I just read and I go back. Same thing to the kids. So I'm definitely going to look for that.
Ray Allen also wrote a book about his experience.
Okay.
I have it. So it's just, I hide everything from her now. But it was so good because he tells you about his experience as a kid with his dad. I think his dad was in the army, so they would move around a lot. And then you kind of get an inside feel of what happened on the teams he was on and like the drama and stuff like that Rivers did to like entice them. Anyways, it was a really good book. I laughed, I cried. It was fantastic.
Awesome. So Ray Allen and Malcolm X, we're going to add that to the list. I'm collecting a list of books here. I'm going to share and then we can all, add it to our reading list and educate ourselves and learn from each other, even if it's from other people's lived experiences, which is great. And lastly, what is Layla's favorite song or TV show? We want to include her in it.
I hate that she watches the screen time, but sometimes people are like, oh, you're not supposed to till like at least 18 months. I'm like,
don't worry. It's okay. Don't feel bad.
So Baby Shark was like her first love. And she also likes Coco Melon.
Okay.
Coco Melon.
I love that. Oh, wow. I'm out of that realm for now, but I know of it because I got nieces and goddaughters. So, yeah. Okay.
Plus, I sing it in class, and the kids, I'm like, what? What's your problem? And they just...
I love that. You see how they bring us back being such young all over again. It's cute. It's cute. Well, I want to say thank you so much, Miss Layla and Aycha. Thank you for your evening. I really did learn a lot from you guys today as well. Thank you for sharing your story and your journey. Definitely the motivation that you give everybody that, is looking to build a life along with sports. And it's not just playing and stopping, but you can incorporate it as part of a career and continuous learning. I love that. And then thank you for being one of the female coaches in this space. Definitely it's well needed, well learned, well loved, and making it normal that it's not the first or the second. It's just it's part of it. We deal with it and we grow with that. So I appreciate that. Last word for you, and then I shut up.
Thank you for inviting me. I won't lie, I was very excited when you messaged me. I was like, wow, this is great. I would love to. So yes, thank you for thinking of me and for having me on here. If you ever want to have a conversation, let me know. Like, you're fantastic. I love what you're doing. I wish we had these types of avenues when I was younger to reach out to. So, I hope people take advantage of this.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Good night, Layla. Good night, everybody. Stay tuned. I'm going to be sharing the video, and then you can rewatch it and take all the notes, and especially all the great topics and tips that Coach Aycha shared with us. So everybody have a good rest of your evening. Bye.